This is the story of the man in room 1046. A case so bizarre and so twisted that it feels like it was ripped straight out of a nightmare. And trust me, by the end of this, you'll be checking the locks on your doors. It all begins when a man steps into the lobby of the hotel president. He's young, maybe in his 20s or early 30s, with a lean build and sharp, handsome features. His dark hair is neatly combed, and he's dressed in a tailored overcoat, the kind that screams money but doesn't quite match the nervous energy in his eyes. The bellhop, Randolph Frost, notices him straight away. There's something just off about this guy. He's carrying no luggage, just a comb and a toothbrush, and a small parcel wrapped in newspaper. No suitcase, no overnight bag. Nothing to suggest he's planning a long stay. The man approaches the front desk and introduces himself as Roland T. Owen. His voice is smooth, but there's just a tremor in it, like he's trying to keep something locked inside. He requests a room, something private and high up. The clerk assigns him room 1046, a modest single room on the 10th floor. Roland signs the register, his handwriting precise but hurried. He pays cash for one night. As he heads to the elevator, Prost can't shake the feeling that the man's eyes are darting around and scanning the lobby like he's expecting someone or something to step out of the shadows. Room 1046 is nothing special. It's a standard hotel room for the time. Single bed, sagging mattress, a wooden nightstand and a small desk, and a window overlooking the grey Kansas City skyline. The walls are papered into a faded floral pattern, and the air smells faintly of cigarette smoke and old wood. Roland steps inside and locks the door behind him, and then that's when things start to get weird. The next morning, January the 3rd, the hotel staff begin to notice odd things about room 1046. Mary Soptek, a maid, knocks on the door to clean. There's no answer at first. But then the door cracks open and Roland peers out. His face is pale and his eyes bloodshot, like he hasn't slept a wink. He tells her to come back later, his voice clipped, almost panicked. Mary, looking, catches a glimpse of the room behind him. The curtains are drawn tight, plunging the space into near darkness. The bed is untouched, but there's a faint metallic smell in the air. Something she can't quite put her finger on. Later that day, Mary returns, and this time, Roland lets her in. But he's acting strange. He tells her not to lock the door when she leaves, says he's expecting a friend. As she dusts the furniture, she notices him pacing, muttering to himself. At one point, he picks up the phone to dial a number and speaks in a low, urgent tone. Mary, listening, can't quite work out the words, but the way his knuckles whiten around the receiver makes her skin crawl. She finishes her work quickly and slips out, leaving the door unlocked as instructed. That evening, another strange detail emerges. A woman named Jean Owen, no relation to Roland, checks into the hotel and is assigned room 1048, right next door. She later tells the police she heard voices coming through the wall of a man and a woman arguing. The man's voice sounds like Roland's, but the woman's is unfamiliar, sharp and angry. Jean can't quite make out what they were saying in the argument, and it goes on for hours, punctuated by long stretches of eerie silence. By January the 4th, things take a dark turn. The hotel telephone's operator, Della Ferguson, notices that the phone in room 1046 is off the hook for hours at a time. She tries to connect calls, but no one answers. Prost, the bellhop, is sent to check on the guest. When he knocks, there's no response. But he hears movement inside, shuffling footsteps, a low groan. He calls out, "Mr. Owen, are you okay?" No answer. Prost tries the door, but it's locked now. He knocks again, louder this time, and a voice, Roland's, but weaker, says, "I'm fine, just leave me alone." Prost hesitates, then heads back downstairs. But the unease lingers. Something just isn't right. Later that night, around 11 p.m, another guest reports hearing a commotion from room 1046. Thuds like furniture being moved around and what sounds like a muffled scream. The night manager, Charles Blotcher, decides it's time to investigate. He takes the master key and heads to the 10th floor. When he opens the door to room 1046, the scene inside stops him cold. The room is a bloodbath. Roland T. Owen, or whoever this really is slumped against the bed, his body battered and broken. His throat has been slashed, deep and jagged. Blood is pooling on the floor beneath him. His chest is riddled with stab wounds, and his skull is fractured as if someone just bashed him with a blunt object. The walls are splattered with crimson, and the air is thick with the same metallic smell that Mary had noticed earlier. Now it's overpowering. But here's the kicker. Roland is still alive. Barely. Vulture calls for help, and soon the room is swarming with police and paramedics. Roland is rushed to the hospital, but he's fading fast. Before he slips into a coma, a detective leans in and asks, "Who did this to you?" Roland's eyes flutter and he whispers, "Nobody." Then he's gone. He dies in the early hours of January the 5th, 1935, taking his secrets with him. Now, if this story wasn't creepy enough, here's where it gets even more stranger. The police start digging into Roland T. Owen's identity, and it's like chasing a ghost. The name Roland T. Owen is a dead end. No records, no family, no trace of him anywhere. The address he gave at check-in, fake. The parcel he was carrying, gone. And the friend he was expecting never shows up. The investigation uncovers more bizarre clues. A note found in the room, scrawled on hotel stationery, reads, "Don, I will be back in 15 minutes. Wait." Who's Don? No one knows. Fingerprints are lifted from the room, but they don't match anyone in the system. The phone calls Roland made, untraceable. And then there's the woman that Gene Owen heard arguing next door. Hotel staff confirm a woman was seen entering and leaving room 1046 multiple times, but no one can describe her clearly. She's like a shadow slipping through the cracks of the case. The crime scene yields more questions than answers. A hairpin, a woman's cigarette butt, a safety pin, and a small bottle of diluted sulfuric acid were found, along with a broken water glass and a single fingerprint, possibly a woman's, on the telephone stand. Most bizarrely, Roland's clothes are missing. No shirt, no pants, no coat, as if someone stripped the room clean. The light switch is smeared with blood, like someone kept flicking it on and off, searching for something in the dark or trying to hide it. The police hit a wall, and the body lies unclaimed in a morgue, displayed in newspapers under the headline, "Do you recognise this man?" Leads pour in. Some claim he was Eugene K. Scott, a name he used at another Kansas City hotel. Others say he was Harvey Johnson, but every trail goes cold. The case seems destined to fade into obscurity. The man buried as a John Doe. Then, in the fall of 1936, a glimmer of truth emerges from a small town in Alabama. Ruby Ogletree, a mother from Birmingham, is shown a copy of the American Weekly, a sensationalist magazine, by a friend. The May 1935 issue features an article titled "The Mystery Room, number 1046, with a photo of a dead man in profile. Ruby's breath catches. The scar on his scalp from a childhood accident involving hot grease is unmistakable. So is the cauliflower ear, a mark from its days as an amateur wrestler. The man in room 1046 is her son, Artemus Ogletree, a 19-year-old who left home in 1934 to chase dreams of becoming a professional wrestler. Ruby contacts the Kansas City police, her voice trembling as she shares the letters and photos to confirm his identity. Artemus had been a bright restless kid raised in a working class family hit hard by the Depression. After his father died, Ruby raised him alone, watched him grow into a lean, athletic young man with big ambitions. He left Birmingham to travel the country, sending the occasional letters about wrestling gigs in Chicago or New York. But his last letters hinted at trouble, a nervousness Ruby just couldn't shake. The police confirm her story. The scar, the ear, the photos. It's Artemus. But knowing his name only deepens the mystery. Why was he using the alias Roland T. Owen? Who was he hiding from? The investigation uncovers more bizarre threads. Ruby reveals a chilling detail months after Artemus's death. She received 3 typed letters postmarked from Chicago and New York claiming to be from her son. They said he was travelling to Europe or studying business, but Artemus didn't type, and the slang in the letters just wasn't his. Stranger still, in August 1935, a man calling himself Godfrey Jordan phoned Ruby from Memphis, claiming Artemus had saved his life in a knife fight in Egypt and was married, missing a thumb from the brawl. The story was just so absurd, and Ruby knew her son was dead, but the call left her rattled. Who was sending these letters, making these calls? Was someone covering up Artemus's murder, or just toying with his grieving mother? Then there's the funeral. Artemus's body sits unclaimed for weeks until a local funeral home takes pity. As they prepare to bury him, an anonymous caller sends cash wrapped in newspapers, insisting on a proper service with 13 white roses and a card. Love forever, Louise. Who's Louise? Maybe it's the woman heard arguing in room 1046. A lover from Artemus's past? The police chase the lead, but it vanishes like smoke. Other clues pile up, each more cryptic than the last. A cab driver reports picking up a man matching Artemus's description days before the murder, saying he was paranoid, constantly checking over his shoulder. He told the driver he was from out of town with business to settle. An elevator operator recalls seeing Artemus arguing with a man in a long black coat in the lobby. And then there's the encounter with Robert Lane, a city worker who picked up Artemus hitchhiking on January the 2nd. He was in his shirt sleeves, shivering with a fresh scratch on his arm. When Lane remarked, "You look like you've been in it bad," Artemus muttered, "I'll kill tomorrow." Was he planning a confrontation, or was he already marked for death? Theories swirled around Artemus Ogletree's murder, each darker than the last. Was he a small-town kid who crossed a mobster in Kansas City's underworld, where the mafia ran gambling and bootlegging rackets? His wrestling dreams might have pulled him into that world. Promoters often had mob ties, and the wrong move could have been fatal. Or was it personal? The hairpin, the cigarette butt, and Louise suggest a woman was involved. Maybe a romantic betrayal that turned deadly. Some even wonder if Artemus was mistaken for someone else, caught in a case of mistaken identity. His aliases, Roland T. Owen, Eugene K. Scott, hint he was hiding from something. But what? A debt, a rival, or something tied to his restless life on the road? The most haunting detail is the blood-smeared light switch in room 1046, flicked on and off like someone was searching frantically in the dark. What were they looking for? Evidence? A weapon? Or something Artemus carried with him? And why, as he lay dying, did he whisper, "Nobody," when he was asked who attacked him? Was he protecting someone, or just too afraid to speak? Artemus Ogletree walked into the hotel president as Roland T. Owen, a 19-year-old from Birmingham with a scar, a cauliflower ear, and secrets he couldn't outrun. His mother's heartbreak gave back his name, but not his story. The truth of room 1046 remains locked in that faded room where the walls still whisper of blood and betrayal. So, the next time you check into a hotel and hear a strange noise next door, or see a shadow slip down the hall, maybe think twice before you switch that light switch off, because some mysteries don't want to be solved. If you enjoyed this story, please drop us a like. And if you love horror, check out the world's first interactive horror movie on our Indiegogo page and sign up with your email to keep up to date.